we've got Nick, pronouns he, him, calling in from Caterpillar Airplanes. That's what's wrong with my brain. Who is a Jill Stein voter and wants to talk about why. Nick, you were on the line with Josie and Forrest. How are you doing?
Oh, hey guys.
Hey there.
Happy Sunday. Happy Saturday, 26th.
Saturday.
Yeah,
Don't take my weekend away. I need it.
They're all just days.
Good time.
So tell me more about this person you're voting for and why you're voting for them.
Well, this is my third time, and of course, Theresa Charm, voting for the great Dr. Jill Stein, and I love Butch Ware too. He's a Muslim and very pro-Palestine and whatnot. And I'm a pretty much one-issue voter. I always liked her. I've been anti-duopoly. Last time I voted for the duopoly, which is the red and blue bullshit, was Obama won in 2008. And that came out to a great disappointment to me. Got us into more wars than anybody. Just completely screwed stuff up. We, bailed out the things, didn't bail. Where's our bailout? So my big thing, my first issue voter is my first thing is basically I'm anti-genocide. What's going on in Israel is genocide, and both Kamala and Trump are pro-Zionist and the pro-genocide. So
a couple of quick things, really quick. I'm just gonna cut you off here for just a second because I just have right away. There's a couple of quick issues. Her name is Kamala, first of all, not Kamala. So if we're gonna talk about her, let's get her name correct.
Kamala, yeah.
Sorry,
Kamala, right? I said
no.
Kamala.
He said Kamala. You said Kamala.
You did. Okay. You did say Kamala.
Yeah.
Sorry,
also, just to be clear, Jill Stein, it sounds like you're parroting what she said this election cycle, where she said that between Trump and Harris, there is no lesser of the two evils, that they are both equally evil options. Okay, so then you think that they're the same on, say, for example, abortion. You think that they're just the same, that there's no lesser of evil there?
Well, here's the funny thing about abortion is that Obama,
that was a yes or no question.
And I will call him Obama. Yeah, I do think they're the same, and I'll tell you why. If you want to explain, okay, I'll explain. Obama could have.
No, I was just asking you a yes or no question in the fact that she says every woman should have a right to choose, make decisions about her own body. She worked with Biden to strengthen abortion pill access and patient protections. She overturned Trump Planned Parenthood federal funding bans. She said that she would sign national abortion rights bans, and Trump is bragging about the fact that he killed Roe v. Wade. So you're saying that they're actually the same, despite the fact that they have very different records, very different stated positions, and very different plans?
On abortion, okay, well, on abortion, let's go back. On abortion, yeah, I guess the Republicans are a little harder on it. It doesn't really matter.
Cool. So if you agree with Jill Stein that they're actually the same and there is no lesser evil, what about on climate change, which is an existential threat to all human beings? Do you think that there's actually no lesser of two evils on climate change as well?
No, I don't.
Okay, so that's also bullshit. On the topic of, say, for example, criminal justice, do you think that they're the same in terms of like criminal justice?
Yeah, totally. They're all there.
Okay,
we're the biggest penal colony. We're the biggest penal colony in the world, Dad. You don't know that. We lock up more people than Russia, China, and everybody combined.
I do know that. I've talked about it a lot. There's a difference, though, insofar as Kamala Harris has supported better training, banning chokeholds, prosecuting police misconduct. Trump says police are under siege and need to be able to do more things and cut back active federal oversight of excessive force. So, like, kind of different there, right? Insofar as, like, one is still a more progressive candidate than the other, more regressive, more authoritarian candidate, right?
If you say so, but one thing I'll say about Kamala Harris,
it's just the truth.
California all my life. Sharif people,
and again,
Google
her name
Sharif
is
people.
Kamala, not Kamala.
Kamala, sorry.
No, I think
Kamala.
Yeah, Kamala.
Sharif people. Go, I tell your audience, go Google Sharif peoples and let me know how much Kamala is such a great justice candidate. Okay, just Google.
I'm not
Sharif
saying
peoples
she's
and
the best. I'm saying it's absolutely absurd to say that she is exactly as bad as Donald Trump and to say that there is no lesser of two evils. I agree with you that America has a lot of problems with authoritarianism, with excessive criminalization and over imprisonment. I agree with you that we are a warmongering country. I agree with you that we have done terrible things. I disagree with you and your candidate in the idea that Kamala Harris and Donald Trump are the same and that there's no lesser of two evils there. That's a ridiculous thing to say.
They're both pro-genocide, and I'm a one-issue voter.
All right, Nick, hold on. All right. I want to jump in real quick. So you say you're a one-issue voter, and you say the pro-genocide. So you have said that you voted for Jill Stein, or actually you couldn't have voted for Jill Stein last time because she didn't run, but you voted for the Green Party the last 3 presidential cycles. Is that correct, Nick?
Well, in 2016 she ran. I voted for her.
Yeah, 2016, but she. But did you vote for the Green Party in 2020?
Yes, I voted.
Okay,
I voted anything but red or blue. I voted, I think, libertarian. I believe.
Okay, so Nick, I'm going to ask you a question. Okay, I'm going to ask you a question, Nick, because you said the genocide is your one issue. Okay, so Noura Erakat, do you know who Noura Erakat is? Erakat?
Rings a bell, but refresh me.
Okay, she was on the list for being one of the vice presidential picks for Jill Stein this cycle. She's she's a Palestinian woman, actually, a professor at Rutgers University. And one of the reasons that she was not selected for VP is because she actually said that her condition for joining the ticket with Jill Stein was that there would have to be a ceasefire, an arms embargo, and there would and a list of conditions that the Harris campaign would have to follow. And if the Kamala Harris campaign follows that, then the Green Party should push the support behind Kamala to make sure that she wins. And the Jill Stein said absolutely not, right? So in that case where the Green Party had leverage to be able to actually say, hey, here's a list of conditions, Democrats, follow this list of conditions, and then we will push the support of the Green Party this cycle to you to make sure you win, to beat authoritarianism. And Jill Stein said no. Right. So do you agree with that position?
I don't think you can push these people. I don't think they don't.
I don't think that's what she asked.
Listen to the corporate donors.
What do you mean you can't push these people? Because I specifically asked, do you think Jill Stein made the right call to not select this Palestinian American because the list of demands and having the Green Party shift to the Harris campaign?
Yeah, no.
Support Harris.
I don't think the Green Star Party could actually support Harris because they're off the rails. They're bought. Okay, both parties are bought by the donor.
Wait, the Green Party's bought? Or wait, so
not the Green Party. No. Green Party's ground roots. I don't put words in my mouth. I said both parties, the red and blue, are both pre-purchased and already paid for. I mean, Frank Zappa said it best. Politics is just
that's not where I'm going, Nick, because I'm not going to talk to you about money in politics because I'm also against money in politics. My question is specifically about the genocide, right? Because when you're talking about the genocide, and this is your major issue, and this is the major issue that a lot of people who are voting for Jill Stein and the lefties are using as a reason to not vote or vote for Jill Stein or vote against Kamala Harris, right? There was an opportunity, but there was an opportunity to say to the Harris campaign that this 2% of the vote that we're going to pull across the country, we will do our best to shift that vote to you if you actually follow this point of view of the ceasefire, arms embargo, and all of that stuff. If you do that, which would actually make a difference in this war, we will do our best to make sure that people vote for you this cycle so we can defeat authoritarianism with Donald Trump.
Problem with that. Yes, I agree.
Okay, so
totally agree.
If you are a one-issue voter, sorry, one-issue voter, I'm also tired, sorry. Yeah, voter, I apologize. A one-issue voter, then why wouldn't you want to push that policy point in that way?
That is the policy, because it's just a policy, and policies, they lie. It's a lie. They won't do it. That's why, and I know of the issue now you're talking about. I follow Jill Stein very closely, and the reason why is you just can't do it. You can't push these people. You can push them if you're a billionaire, but you can't push
Nick,
them. Jill Stein was arrested. She got her head bashed in by police at a pro-Palestinian rally. That goes a lot with me. That means you put your life on the line. You're going to pigs. Yeah, you can do that.
Nick, this is why I understand those points, okay? But I am talking to you, as you said, was a one-issue voter for genocide. So, but you have just admitted that you would not believe anything that the Harris campaign would say. You literally said, I don't care if she said all of the right things on this issue, you will not believe it, so you wouldn't vote for her anyway. But even if she did, you would not believe her. Is that correct?
No, I would. I would. Yeah, I would if she really, honestly, because she flip flops. She's a flip flopper.
But what is the thing that she would have to do to convince you otherwise? Because I have a feeling that even if she did do this, there would be a point where you're like, I don't believe her. I'm not voting for her anyway.
No, you know why? This is why. This is a big factor that I had call with Kamala voters. Is that they can't so anyways, Biden could call Bibi right now and say, look, you're cut off. You could call that Satan Yahoo right now and say, look, we're cutting you off. You can't kill Palestinian kids anymore and women, based on you're
jumping around, Nick. You're jumping around. Yeah, like I'm trying to pin you down on this.
I'm sorry, I cannot stress enough. Her name is Kamala.
Kamala.
That's actually what I pronounce her name.
No, you're not.
No,
you're not saying it.
It's like the third or fourth time.
Kamala. Yeah,
you're
like a comma.
Say her name properly.
Like a comma in a sentence.
Process anything else besides a condescending prick on this serious issue.
Yeah. It's like a comma in a sentence.
And a lot.
Like a comma in a sentence. Yeah, Kamala. Yes. Yes. Thank you.
Yes,
right. So going back, Nick, the reason I'm going down this line of questioning, right, is because you still have not proven to me that the sincerity of whatever she would say, and not talking about Biden. Look, I think one of the worst things that Biden ever did was embrace Netanyahu, okay? Like when he came off the tarmac and he gave Netanyahu a hug, it's probably one of the worst photos that exists in his entire legacy, right? And that's going to haunt him until his legacy is no more, right? And so Nick, what I'm talking to you about right now is we have shared values, and I'm not talking about Biden. I'm talking about Harris. And what I have noticed and what I have talked about, Kamala, is about this, right? Is I've talked to a lot of people, and a lot of people are like, it doesn't matter what she'll say. I will never vote for her because she is pro-genocide. Even if she said all of these things, I would not vote for her. I've heard that a lot, Nick. And because people think that she's insincere. So let me tell you this, as a political person, as somebody who's worked in politics, gets votes and goes into campaigning and everything like that, if you have a large contingency of people, and I'm going to use the Green Party as the example here, where the Green Party has already said that it doesn't matter if Kamala said all of the right things on this list, they still would not support her candidacy. Why would a politician in the closest election in American history try to cater her vote to a group of people who will always see her as insincere and not a voting bloc? Wouldn't it make sense for that politician that is trying to win an election in the closest election in American history to ignore the voters who are always going to see her as insincere and win this election and then try to do the right thing after elected.
Okay.
Like, do you understand where she's coming from and the campaign's coming from? Because so many people, Nick, will have. So, I know, yeah, Kamala
said she would
has
do
said
the same thing. She was not she's not pro-Palestine. She's pro-Israel. She's pro-Zionist. She's pro-genocide. That's the problem.
So,
you can't push
oh my
people
God,
like
dude. Here we are back on this thing again. Josie, do you want to continue pushing on what you're saying? I just have a couple of quick, because I don't want to cut you off. Like, it's so incredibly disingenuous, Nick, for you to sit here and say, I'm a one-issue voter and all I care about is Palestine, and they're both pro-Israel and they're both pro-genocide and all these things. It's so incredibly disingenuous when you have the reality of the fact that, number one, Harris has already been pushed quite far on this issue away from her current administration mate. She's gone farther than Biden on this and said that we need a ceasefire and we need a two-state solution, and that too many Palestinians have been killed, and that the civilian suffering is too much, and that Palestine is entitled to security and to dignity and to self-determination. She has done so much more in rhetoric alone than Biden has done. So clearly there's a difference there, and clearly she can continue to be swayed in this direction, in the correct direction. Now, Biden is already saying that, we're going to talk about an arms cutoff in a month after the election is over, and that's a whole bunch of horse shit, and that's political nonsense that I'm sure you and I agree with. However, the fact remains that Kamala has already moved significantly farther than Biden has been moved on this issue, and is worlds better than Trump. So here's the reality, Nick, is that for all the people out here that are just protest voting and trying to get the Green Party on all the thing, Stein isn't even on the ballot in all the states. So this chances of her winning this election are zero, right? So, and the reality, the actual thing that is going to happen in November is that either Harris or Trump are going to win the election. That's what's going to happen. Now, my question for you, Nick, is which one of them is better for Gaza?
For Gaza?
Yes. Is Harris or Trump worse for Gaza?
Yeah, man, got me there, man. It's just,
shouldn't be something you have to think about too hard.
If you're a one-issue voter, Nick, you would understand. If you are a single-issue voter on this, that means that you've put a lot of research and studying about what the outcomes for Gaza would be, right? So, like, foreign policy is probably one of the most complicated issues in the entire world, right? Socially, politically, it's your main issue. So why haven't you done the impact calculus on this piece of, this country that you care about? I care about a lot as well. And I've done that impact calculus because I care about this issue. As somebody who is a single issue voter, you should be about 90 percentile more understanding and knowledgeable on this topic than the average American, because you are making this decision when only less than 5% of American voters are making their decision based on this issue. So you have to be at the 95 percentile understanding of this topic. And a question of what is the impact calculus between a Harris and a Trump presidency has to be something you thought about a lot for you to be able to say there is no impact calculus, and therefore I'm just going to throw my vote in one direction. That's not going to support either of the two candidates that are most likely going to win. So what is your impact analysis, Nick, between a Harris and a Trump presidency? Because, please tell me.
Who takes more money from AIPAC? Who's more paid
That's
off?
not what's the impact?
You're not serious.
Nick, you're not being serious. I literally asked for impact
calculus.
calculus.
More money from AIPAC. Money talks.
They both do.
Money.
They both do. And so Nick, I asked you a very specific question. Right, but you have to be honest with us, right? Because we're feeling that you're not being honest with us, Nick, because there is a significant policy difference between Trump and Harris on the Gaza policy. They've been very vocal about it, right? In fact, Trump uses Palestinian as a pejorative, right?
He
And
does.
and so you got to think about the fact that Trump has said, I want to finish the job, and when he was
And
talking
also
about
that all the-
Netanyahu and Gaza.
He said that all the
but
images coming out of Gaza are just bad PR. He said we need to finish the job, that the images out of Gaza are bad PR, and he uses Palestinian as a pejorative. I think those are phenomenal points. Meanwhile, Harris has said that Palestinians deserve security, self-determination. The civilian death toll is too high. The suffering is unimaginable. Like, so here we are again.
Right.
Please tell me, because again, the reality of November 6th is that either Harris or Trump will be the winner. That is actually what's going to happen. So you, by not voting for Harris, are actively helping Trump win. So tell me, how exactly is a Trump presidency going to be better for the people of Palestine? How is it going to help end the genocide to have Trump in office?
Right.
One thing about Trump is that he will end the bleeding of Ukraine, because I'm actually, anti-Ukraine.
Not even close to what I asked, Nick. I would like you to actually answer the question that you are asked. How is a Trump presidency going to help the genocide in Gaza?
It won't, but it could stop the genocide
It won't.
in Ukraine.
It will make it
He said
exponentially worse.
He said he'll stop the funding for the Ukrainian Nazis. We got to stop that.
Hold on, Nick. You said you were a single issue voter. So before I let you get on some other conspiracy theory bullshit, your single issue that you said several times was the Palestinian genocide. Use your single issue.
Whoa.
So,
So no war.
Single issue is war.
Be exponentially worse for the people in Gaza. How is that fitting into your narrative? So you're anti-war. So you're okay with ending one war so that we can dramatically make a genocide exponentially worse.
All wars
Nick,
are bankers' wars.
I'm going to need you to grow the fuck up and just pay attention for a second and quit just spewing fucking nonsense about how we all don't like. Nobody likes fucking war. Nick. Everybody likes war.
I'm a veteran for peace. I fucking
seriously.
I've seen atrocities. I'm a veteran for peace. Did you know in 2016 I was at the convention in 2016 as a Bernie delegate. I was the one that yelled "No more war" and started that chant when we stopped Leon Panetta in his tracks when he was platformed on that stage. So when it comes to no more war, I am right there with you, but I have made all of these impact calculuses of the differences between the foreign policies of these two candidates, because I am faced with the reality that there will be a Harris administration or a Trump administration. That is the choice that is given between us, and it is our responsibility as no more war activists to make sure that the best situation for our country is actually achieved. And you cannot tell me that Trump is going to do better for genocide or better for Ukraine when Trump has already said he wants to give sections of Ukraine to Russia, which is appeasement. It's not anti-war at all. It's and it's the same type of stuff that happened when the League of Nations was like, oh, we'll just give Hitler, Czechoslovakia and everything will be fine. Right? No. And he rolled right into Poland, just like Putin will continue the roll until he has all of Kyiv and all of the Ukraine. That is what's going to happen.
He won't.
The same Putin that Jill Stein had dinner with, by the way. The point is, nobody likes war, Nick. Everybody here is anti-war. Nick, listen. Nobody likes war. The issue is you've got two wars going on right here. Trump, you think, is going to end the war in Ukraine. Wonderful. He is also going to make genocide in Gaza exponentially worse. And then on top of that is going to strip the rights away from millions of Americans who are LGBT, who are women, who are disabled, who are immigrants. He's going to hurt all of those people as well. So you're going to sit here with a straight fucking face and say, no, I'm just anti-war. That's why I have to allow the fascist dictator to take charge so that he can maybe end one of the wars that I don't like by acting in appeasement and supporting the war criminal that Jill Stein refused to call a war criminal, by the way. And also exponentially make the genocide that you said was your single issue way worse, and also hurt millions of marginalized Americans here. Grow the fuck up, Nick. Seriously,
And Nick,
do the
I just want to
calculus
say
in your
this real
head.
quick. I've done it. Also, you said that if you had a magic ability to understand that Kamala Harris was sincere about the ceasefire and the arms embargo and all of that type of stuff, that you would vote for her. But yet here we are with you moving the goalpost to Ukraine. So you have to realize that we're trying to have an actual conversation with you, but you keep jumping around all over the place instead of answering the questions about impact calculus, about foreign relations, which you know is one of the hardest issues to understand because there's so many inputs of different things that are coming into the process. So for me, Nick, like if you're a single issue voter, I would expect you to know all of this stuff. But then you start talking about Ukrainian Nazis, you got to realize that you are like grasping at things when we are trying to say, look, there is a situation that is happening. Ukrainian Nazis.
Ukraine in 2014.
Seriously.
Like
2014 when they started killing ethnic Russians in the Donbass. Read a book.
It is
straight.
Nick, I literally taken foreign relations classes.
Jesus
like you realize
Christ,
that
dude.
I was taught by. Oh my god, I don't even want to go into my credentials.
Yeah,
really,
just read a book,
really,
Josie.
Nick,
Really, yeah.
read a book. Oh yeah. Oh my gosh,
No,
I guess I should have just read one instead of the 5 that I read on international relations involved.
If
in
you had
Middle
just
Eastern
read the cover of
issues.
one, you'd be as informed as Nick.
I know.
2014. You know that. You
Nick,
know that.
I do. I was in university when it was all going down, when all of that happened, and I was actually taught by a person who was Egyptian. And I know, yes, in 2014, I know that Crimea was taken. I understand that all of that was happening at the time. And guess what people said back then? Oh, he only wants Crimea. He's not going to go any further. It's just going to be Crimea. He doesn't care about all of that. And then boom, we're in Ukraine.
You know that NATO encroached on, past when the agreement, when Reagan. And
I'll tell you what I know, Nick.
But anyways,
I'll tell you what I know. After 26 minutes of listening to you fucking blather on about this and that, rather than just addressing a single actual point that either Josie or I have made, you keep dodging, moving goalposts, dancing around other bullshit. It's absolutely embarrassing for you to sit here and call yourself a single issue voter caring about genocide and war, and then be so unbelievably selfish and arrogant to sit here and say that you're going to shut the fuck up, Nick. I'm so sick of you interrupting both of us and being a condescending asshole because you think that you're smarter than literally everybody else, and you're willing to sacrifice the rights of millions of Americans and the lives of millions of Palestinians just to allow a fascist to take over so that you can try to move the political needle for fucking Jill Stein. I am so sick of people like you cosplaying revolutionary, like you're gonna fucking change the direction of the entire American empire with your goddamn worthless ass protest vote, as if it's ever been effective ever. It is absolutely fucking disgusting, dude. Just, I don't think that you're gonna listen to a word we said, because it's very clear from talking to you for this long that you don't give a shit about anybody but yourself. With that, I've had you muted for a while. I'm sure you're still talking over me. Arden, can you confirm? Can you see the needle moving?
When you mute in Colin's studio, I don't get to see his levels. So I only see it when I mute on my end. If you want to unmute him in Colin's studio, I'd happily mute him here so we can test to see what kind of how large his ego is. But it's totally up to you.
You know what? I don't even think it's worth it. Josie, do you have anything else to say to Nick?
I have one question to ask. Just one.
All right. And we're bringing Nick back.
Sorry, Nick. We try not to take calls for too long. I just want to go ahead. You are unmuted. I just want to ask you one question. What do you think about the fact that, like, the last few rallies that Jill Stein had, there were signs that said "Down with Kamala"? Nick might have hung up.
No, it says he's still there.
I think this is a web client issue. I think he needs to touch his phone.
Yeah, touch your phone. Wake up your phone. Oh, darn. Maybe we'll ask that question later to somebody else.
Maybe. Yeah.
No, I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Oh,
Hello?
yeah,
There we
no,
go.
now we can. Now we can. I just had
No,
one more
I'm still
question. Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you. I just want to ask you one more question because we usually don't take calls for this long, but I just want to ask, what do you think about the last few rallies that Jill Stein had that said down with Kamala and not like down with Trump?
No, they have down with Trump too.
Now,
down
but the
with the
first couple
establishment.
rallies, but the couple of rallies, they actually had nothing but down with Kamala signs. And
Didn't
there
she
have been
also
staffers.
say
Yeah,
that her goal is to get rid of Kamala?
yeah,
And Trump.
there was like staffers.
And you know one thing I will say
But there's
about
not
one
what
thing?
she said.
Props to Trump on one thing. You want to hear something cool? Props to Trump on one
I'm
thing.
not at
4
all
years they
surprised
took
you have
office.
props for Trump.
What is the
One
props?
prop.
And then we got to let you go.
One prop. He never got us into a new war. He never expanded any wars. He
Of
talked to
course, that's where
dictators.
you're landing.
He
Good,
did that.
great. Yeah, he went and talked to dictators and called them all good people and continues to praise Xi Jinping and continues to praise Kim Jong-un and continues to praise Hitler. Yeah, no, you're right. He's really
So,
nice to the
Nick-
dictators and did start any new wars.
Nick, he did start any new wars, but Biden stopped them, right? Like in
No,
Iraq.
Biden expanded on him.
Oh, really?
Biden-
So
okay.
you don't count taking down Iraq as ending a war? But you'll
That's-
give Trump
that started it.
props for that, but you
That-
won't give Biden props for the
I did.
Iraq?
I did.
Okay, so
but
you give
Trump
props to
actually
that.
Started that before Biden did it. Biden executed.
Oh, so
it
you're
very
gonna give
poorly.
credit to
Nonetheless,
Trump.
we got out of there, and good for him. Good on Biden.
Nick,
Like if props for
yeah,
props, they're good.
Absolutely, right? And Biden has actually been actively drawing down war for quite a while. But anyways, Nick,
Mhm.
we're gonna let you go. We have other callers on the line. Thank you
All
for your call.
It's been gross, Nick. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Jesus of Christland. To seriously sit there and say with your whole chest, well, yeah, no, Trump was really did never start any wars. He's nice to all the time. Why? Why do you think
No
he didn't start?
war.
Who are the people that we're starting wars with? Is it the good guys? Like I'm not saying like.
Yeah, it
No,
just
sorry, go
like
ahead.
drops the mother of all bombs, in
Largest bomb,
Afghanistan,
yes.
actually dropping bombs and killing people in like other countries, like actually
But it wasn't a new country, and that means it's good.
Yeah. It's like there was so much military activity that went on. And that's where it's like the disingenuousness comes in, because it's like, as somebody who actually studies, foreign policy the best I can, but I'm mainly focusing a lot on domestic policy currently this election cycle. But like, honestly, knowing all of these things, it's like, it's so disingenuous, because it's like, you can't sit here and say that a Republican is going to be better for war when you have the largest budgets being passed, you have all of the military defense contractors, you see the cutting of veteran benefits, right, during the Trump administration and a lot of things, right, where it took Biden to pass the PACT Act, right, to actually make sure that veterans actually got taken care of after ingesting toxic chemicals and in their fight. Like that's to me what I look at, right, as somebody who fought in foreign war. Like, I want to see these soldiers getting taken care of when they're put into these situations. And Trump doesn't love veterans. He hates them. He thinks that they're bad for photo ops. Like he
thinks they're
literally
losers
is
and
a
suckers.
horrible. Yeah, exactly. So for me, it's like, I can never trust Donald Trump on anything, because he'll send people to war and then freaking have them killed or injured, and then be like, "Ew, gross, you're an amputee." Like, like that's exactly who he is.
But he'll happily have his staffers assault a guard at Arlington National Cemetery so he can take photo ops in a place where you're specifically not supposed to, because that's good publicity. If you can get the dead people in a picture that can't consent in a place where people come to grieve and honor service members, that's the place where he'll happily do it. It's striking similarity in my mind. I know that they're completely different things, but like in my mind, it is that situation, and then the time he tear gassed a church during BLM in order to go hold a Bible upside down and take a photo op with the Bible. Like oh my fuck, dude. Like it's the same level of shit.
Thanks for watching that clip. Hey, we're trying to do some data research about whether or not our callers successfully proved that God existed. If they didn't, don't forget to like and subscribe. That's how we know they failed. But if you don't like and subscribe, you're saying that they succeeded. So you're saying that by liking and subscribing, you will be affirming that you are an atheist. Hey, what else should they do?
I don't know. Maybe go to patreon.com/calltheline and donate some of their hard-earned money.
Like and subscribe.